Hey Reddit, throwaway account because I don't need my coworkers seeing this dumpster fire of a life update. I'm 29M, my wife, 31F, and I have been together for 6 years, married for 3. No kids, thank God, just a dog we adopted together named Benny. We used to be that couple, friends called us goals, and we used to laugh about how cringe that was. Everything felt solid until about 3 months ago when she took a week-long girls' trip to Miami for her best friend's bachelorette party. She came back, different, more distant, glued to her phone, started sleeping in late, wearing makeup around the house for fun, and suddenly had a bunch of new male Instagram followers she never explained. At first, I thought I was just being insecure. I wanted to trust her. But trust doesn't survive when your gut screams something's wrong every time she smiles at her phone like a teenager hiding something. That was the beginning. I had no idea the storm I was about to walk into. It started with the damn AirPods. One night, she was in the shower and left her phone on the nightstand. I wasn't snooping, I swear, I was just trying to connect my AirPods to my phone, and hers popped up instead. Out of curiosity, I clicked her Bluetooth name. And accidentally triggered her music to start blasting in the bathroom. She ran out, dripping wet, eyes wide like she saw a ghost. Grabbed the phone off the nightstand and yelled, "What the hell are you doing?" I apologized, told her it was an accident. She didn't say anything else, just stormed off and locked herself in the guest room. That was the moment I knew, she was hiding something. Later that night, I waited until she passed out and tried her phone again. She changed her passcode from 1111 to 4297. Her dumbass left a sticky note on her laptop with Wi-Fi password, 4297, so thanks for that. I unlocked her phone. And my whole world fell apart. There were saved Snapchats from some guy named JM, explicit messages. Hotel receipts. A voice memo titled "Last night was insane fire." I didn't even listen to it. I just sat there staring at the screen while my dog slept at my feet like nothing was happening, like my whole life wasn't burning down in that moment. The next morning, I didn't say a word. I made coffee, fed the dog, waited for her to come into the kitchen like everything was normal. She sat down, scrolling through her phone, and I asked as calmly as I could, "Who's JM?" She froze, didn't blink. Didn't move. Just slowly set her phone down and said, "Why are you going through my phone?" No denial. No "who's that?" Just immediate defense. Classic cheater move. I told her I saw the Snapchats, the receipts, and that she needed to tell me the truth right now. She rolled her eyes. Rolled her eyes, like I just caught her stealing snacks before dinner, not destroying our marriage. Her first excuse, it was nothing serious. Then, we were drunk, it was just one night. Then, 5 minutes later, okay. It happened a few times. But only because you've been so emotionally distant lately. Ah yes, the classic blame the victim arc. She managed to gaslight me, minimize what happened, and accuse me of causing it, all in under 10 minutes. Impressive. I told her to leave the house and go to her sister's. She refused. Said this is my home too. So I packed a bag, grabbed Benny, and walked out. The next day, I booked a cheap Airbnb for the week. Took Benny, left a note on the counter, and shut my phone off. I needed space, not just from her, but from everything. When I turned my phone back on 36 hours later, I had 43 missed calls, 19 texts, 3 voicemails. All from her. A few from her sister. And one from a number I didn't recognize. Guess who? Yep. JM. He actually had the balls to text me, didn't know she was married. My bad, man. She told me you guys were separated. That's when I lost it. She told this guy we were already done so she could hook up guilt-free. I sent her one message, "We're done. I'll have my lawyer contact you." Cold. Maybe, but after the lies, the gaslighting, and the humiliation, she didn't deserve another tear from me. So here's where it goes from bad to absolute train wreck. I filed for divorce a week later. Simple, right? No kids, no joint business, just some shared property. But Lisa, being the chaotic human tornado she is, decided to fight everything. She suddenly wanted half the dog custody, even though she never walked him once, half the furniture, and even tried to claim my gaming PC was community property. Then came the rumors. She started telling mutual friends that I had been abusive, emotionally manipulative, even controlling. Told them I invaded her privacy and made her cheat. Yeah, you read that right, she literally said I made her cheat. I had people texting me like, bro, what's going on with Lisa? She's saying you flipped out and left out of nowhere. At that point, I realized I wasn't just divorcing a cheater, I was escaping a full-blown narcissist. Here's the thing about liars, they can only keep the mask on for so long. One of our mutual friends, Tasha, who always low-key suspected Lisa was full of shit, reached out and said, hey. She's been telling people you cheated. That you ran off with some girl from work. I laughed. Not because it was funny, but because it was so insane I couldn't even be mad. But then Tasha hit me with, wanna know something wild? Lisa and Jay. Not her first. She cheated with a guy named Eric last summer. He ghosted her after a weekend trip. Boom, just like that, the timeline started making sense. That girl's trip to San Diego she took with her cousins. Never happened. She went with Eric. Suddenly, her whole pattern unfolded. The gym selfies. The hotel spa days. The sketchy late-night Zoom calls. It wasn't just one affair. It was a damn seasonal rotation. Once people started putting two and two together, the tide turned, texts started coming in, I'm so sorry, man. She had us all fooled. She's been lying to everyone. She was exposed. And for the first time in months, I felt free. You'd think that once the lies were exposed, I'd feel amazing, like some kind of vindicated movie hero riding off into the sunset. Nah. That's not how it works. Truth is, I still felt wrecked. There's a weird kind of grief that comes from losing someone who never actually existed, the version of her I thought I loved, the life I thought we had. That stuff doesn't disappear overnight. I started going to therapy. First just virtual, then in person. I talked, cried, raged, and finally started putting pieces of myself back together. I also started journaling. I wrote everything down, not for her, not for the world, but for me. It helped me untangle the chaos in my head, and Benny. That dog saved me. No judgment, no lies, just tail wags, loyalty, and the occasional snore. He never picked sides. Just stayed by mine. For the first time in a long time, I started waking up without that heavy pit in my chest. Just when I thought the dust was finally settling. Bam! Plot twist, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. Thought it might be a spammer, almost didn't answer. But curiosity won. Guy on the other end says, hey, is this Lisa's ex-husband? I said, we're still technically married, but yeah. Who's this? Turns out it was Jay's wife. Yup, Jay, the guy Lisa had been screwing. Married. With 2 kids, his wife found my number going through his phone after catching one of Lisa's photos saved under a fake name in his gallery. Apparently, he told her Lisa was just a client. We ended up talking for 2 hours straight, swapping timelines, comparing lies. It was surreal. We even laughed at how absurd the whole thing was. Like, how did we become characters in some twisted reality show? But here's the kicker, she told me Lisa knew he was married, and didn't care. That broke me all over again. Because this wasn't just betrayal. It was intentional cruelty. After that call with Jay's wife, something in me finally snapped, but in a good way, like I'd been holding on to this broken, twisted version of love out of habit. And now I finally saw it for what it was, dead. I stopped answering Lisa's texts. Blocked her on everything, Instagram, WhatsApp, Venmo. Yes, she tried to send me $40 with the note, foreclosure, nah. No more games. I had my lawyer file for full no contact during the divorce process. No more face-to-face meetings. No more emotional manipulation. Just clean, cold, legal distance. Lisa tried pulling one last stunt, showing up at my work. She came in crying, yelling, begging, full drama queen performance. Said she missed me, said she was getting therapy, said she'd do anything. You know what I said, you've already done enough. And I walked away, I didn't look back. Once I finally cut ties, the real work began, rebuilding myself from the wreckage. I threw myself into new hobbies, started rock climbing, picked up cooking classes, and even joined a local improv group, which, let me tell you, is terrifying but oddly therapeutic. I focused on my mental health, kept seeing my therapist, and surrounded myself with friends who didn't judge or pity me, just supported me. Slowly, I began to feel like me again. Not the guy who got played, but a stronger, smarter version who knows his worth. Benny, as always, was my constant companion through it all. Once I finally cut ties, the real work began, rebuilding myself from the wreckage. I threw myself into new hobbies, started rock climbing, picked up cooking classes, and even joined a local improv group, which, let me tell you, is terrifying but oddly therapeutic. I focused on my mental health, kept seeing my therapist, and surrounded myself with friends who didn't judge or pity me, just supported me. Slowly, I began to feel like me again. Not the guy who got played, but a stronger, smarter version who knows his worth. Benny, as always, was my constant companion through it all. I wasn't planning on jumping into anything new anytime soon. Honestly, I thought I'd be single forever, maybe even adopt 3 more dogs instead of dating. But then, at one of those improv classes, I met Maya. She's sarcastic, fiercely independent, and has zero patience for BS, basically my exact vibe. We started hanging out as friends, which quickly turned into something more. No games, no secrets, just 2 people genuinely enjoying each other's company. It's been a wild ride, but for the first time in years, I feel hopeful. Maybe love isn't dead after all, it just took a hard reset. Looking back, this whole nightmare taught me more about myself than I ever expected. First, don't ignore those gut feelings. If your partner's suddenly acting shady, don't just brush it off. Second, trust is everything. Once it's gone, it's almost impossible to get back, no matter how many apologies or I changed speeches you hear. Third, never lose yourself trying to hold on to someone who's clearly toxic. Your peace of mind is worth more than any relationship. And finally, lean on your support system. Therapy, friends, family, even strangers online. You're not alone in this. If I had one piece of advice for anyone going through betrayal, it's this: you deserve better. Always. After everything, I realized that moving on isn't about forgetting the past, it's about owning it and choosing to live better. I started setting new goals, career moves, travel plans, personal growth. I'm learning to celebrate small wins and forgive myself for the mistakes I made, like trusting blindly or ignoring red flags. Most importantly, I'm learning to trust me again. To listen to my gut, stand up for myself, and never settle for less than I deserve. This chapter of my life might have been painful, but it's shaping me into a better man. It's been almost a year since I walked away from that toxic mess. I still think about Lisa sometimes, not with anger, but with a weird kind of pity. I've learned that closure doesn't always come from the other person. Sometimes, it's something you have to create yourself. I'm in a much better place now. Happy, healthy, and open to whatever life throws my way. If you're stuck in a similar nightmare, just know, it will get better. You'll come out stronger, wiser, and ready for a future that actually feels good. Stay strong, Reddit. You got this.